Hello, my name is Miss Reese, and this is my unit plan for New Imperialism. So the subject area for this is World History for the 10th grade. The image here is one of the more iconic images for imperialism. It is the Rhodes Colossus, an iconic cartoon of the Scramble for Africa period, and it depicts a British colonist, Cecil Rhodes, one of the big moguls during this time, standing over the continent, claiming it for his own. So here is just a quick unit summary, the content standards, and the big ideas. So the unit summary is Western imperialism during the 19th and 20th century is a key topic in the study of Western civilization. Students will explore and learn what imperialism looked like from the perspective of the imperialist and the colonized. Also, they will develop their own definition of imperialism. So following that, the California content standards that we will be focusing on in this unit are 10.4, 10.4.2, and 10.4.3, all having to do with imperialism and the global changes that occurred, as well as the perspectives on the colonized and the colonizers, and focusing on different regions, being that the colonizers' regions and the colonized regions. Also, the big ideas we will be focusing on is what is imperialism, what are the pros and cons of imperialism, and also what are the worldwide consequences of imperialism. So that will be having us focus on a past and present kind of perspective on that. And lastly on this page is the student learning objectives. My goal is for my students to be able to describe the foreign policy known as expansionism or imperialism, and that they will be able to explain what motivated the US to adopt this policy in the 19th century. Students will also be able to demonstrate a firm knowledge of European imperialism in Africa, Southeast Asia, China, India, Latin America, and the Philippines. Lastly, students will be able to navigate the internet to find relevant historical resources and be able to analyze primary and secondary sources. We'll be talking about the secondary and primary sources a little later in our lessons, so to follow up next, we will be looking at Lesson 1. So Lesson 1 is the teacher lecture. So I have put together a new imperialism lecture slides and also have a guided notes templates for the students to follow along with. So if you just click this, it'll pop up. I already have it opened, and this is what it looks like. And so we'll just be reviewing and going over all of that good stuff. So yeah, all right. And then also I have the template to follow along with the notes. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just some, key things I want the students to pay attention to and some blank spaces for them to fill it out. You guys are high school students now. I think we're past the point of complete fill in the blank. I want you to be able to pull away the important information that you see is needed. All right, following up next, we have Lesson 2. This is our Weber size lesson. So I will click this and download so I can show you this one. So this one is a bit of a web scavenger hunt as well. Students will be completing this one independently. And here it's a good research practice. I have links that students will be clicking on and then answering the questions after reading through the articles that the links have. And all of the information for these questions can be found in those links. All right, and last lesson is lesson number 3. So in lesson number 3, it is a graphic organizer timeline, and we will specifically be looking at the Scramble for Africa in this section. Scramble for Africa we will have discussed in lesson 1 in the teacher lecture slides. Personally, this is one of my, not Well, favorite part of this lesson, because it is so amazing how fast it happened, how fast Europeans were able to take over Africa. And so here I have the template for you students to download, as well as the rubric scoring guide, how I will be grading this. So take a look at that and then download the template. And again, pretty easy for you guys. I made it this one is a little bit more of a fill in the blank, but I would like some of them you can get away with just a few words, but try and use complete sentences. And the instructions are all here for you to read over. I know you all can read, so I won't read them for you, but I also have the sources for the timeline here. So again, all of the information that you will need to fill in your template will be right in these links right here. All right, moving forward to some further assessments for this unit plan. This is just kind of a little overview for you guys to see what we will be doing. So I have the entry-level assessment. This is our first in-class group exercise we will be completing together before we even dive into the teacher lecture itself. I'll be creating a graphic organizer on the board, split into 5 columns, and then the students will be separated into 5 groups, and I will have them discuss their prior knowledge of imperialism, best educated guesses, any information, anything you've seen in movies or TV, anything you know will be helpful, and then I will take down notes of what you guys have come up with, and then I will have students come down and record the responses for participation points. So that's just kind of a fun exercise for all of us to do some brainstorming, get together, and see what everyone knows. And then next we move on to the formative assessments. So no longer entry level. We've had that knowledge discussed. Now I want you guys to use your brains for this section. So I have the Imperialism Internet Scavenger Hunt, similar to the Webersize, but a little bit more in depth. It's an online and book scavenger hunt that you'll be using just short writing assignments, just a few sentences to fill in those blanks. Also, I will have you guys create your own flashcard sets using the online Quizlet format. This is a great tool for you guys to take advantage of in my class or in other classes. Quizlet is fantastic, but I want you to focus on key terms from the books and lectures and people, events, anything that you think is important. And again, I will be hinting at what may be on the test. So you definitely will want to have those made into flashcards as well. And this will be a great study tool for you to use throughout this unit. Lastly, for the formative section is the presentation. These are group presentations. Groups of 3 to 4 will present on topics chosen from the subject list provided by me. And presentation must be at least 5 minutes, but be no longer than 8, and everyone needs to contribute in some way. You all must be responsible for your own section in the presentation and will be graded on such section. So you will identify that before we get into the nitty-gritty of the presentation, and that's how you will all be graded on your independent work and how you worked as a team. Lastly, we have the summative assignments. That is the paper and the test. Boo, test, I know, but I want to see what you guys have learned. The paper is not going to be anything crazy. I just want you to it's a take-home essay, so you can write it at home, and I want you to just kind of reflect on what you have learned about imperialism, and there will be a rubric on what is expected for that. And lastly, the test will be a multiple choice and short answer test. This is the format I always use for my tests, and it will be covering the unit as a whole. So that's why those flashcards are very important to complete. And here I have an example of what I expect for you from the flashcards. So if we just click on Quizlet, there is my example for the new imperialism, and as you can see, I've just done some definitions, cause, motive, Berlin Conference, big events, people, stuff like that. So that's very important. Obviously, I want you guys to have more than just 5 cards done, but yeah, definitely take advantage of that because that will come in very handy for you later. All right, and next I have the unit resources for you guys. I found a ton online. There are plenty more that I didn't even touch, but Crash Course is a resource that I love. They're just quick videos on YouTube that cover sections pretty briefly in like 15 minutes or less. So if you didn't fully absorb everything from my lesson, you can click this on and watch it that way. The rest are just some more links, practice test, mapping, another crash course video, and so on. And lastly, on the site, I have a link to my teacher site, which just tells about me and what to expect. Your syllabi are down here too, whether you're a sophomore or junior. Obviously, you guys are the sophomores, so pay attention to that section. And yeah, so, oops, sorry, gotta go back. And there we are. So I hope you all learned how to navigate your unit website. We'll be focusing on this a lot. This is how you have access to all of your lessons. And if you have any questions at all, my contact information, you can reach me through my teacher site by email. So thank you very much, and I look forward to completing this unit with you guys. Have a good one. Bye.